Hello there and welcome. And I am excited, or rather, I'm allowing myself just to be a little bit excited about this newly announced RTS title, Tempest Rising. The reason I'm excited about this one in particular is as a lot of us grew up in the 90s and the 2000s, we played Command and Conquer, the Westwood era of RTS gaming, the glory golden days, sitting on your father's lap asking questions like, "Oh, Papa, can't we crush them with a fleet of flame tanks?" And maybe those days are coming again. Maybe we'll get that classic base building, resource harvesting, army destroying feeling that we haven't had in such a long time. Arguably, the last time we had this was with Supreme Commander Forged Alliance. There's not been a AAA feeling RTS that has really knocked it out the park in a classic sense for a really long time. And basing yourself as the spiritual successor to Command and Conquer is a really clever idea, because EA has absolutely mishandled everything to do with that for a very long time. For example, Command and Conquer 3, Red Alert 3, they were kind of above averagey meh kind of games. And then since that, you've seen mobile releases, etc. Recently, we've had different styles of RTSs. They've got releases coming out like Company of Heroes 3, you've had Age of Empires 4, and you had some catastrophes like Dawn of War 3, and some kind of games that were left wanting, such as Iron Harvest. So that's why we're only allowing ourselves to be a little bit excited, but consider me intrigued. Yes. Now, next, we're going to watch the full trailer together. If you've already seen it, skip ahead using the chapters, because I have a full trailer breakdown following that. Then I'll go through all the literature available online for this game currently and give that a breakdown. Then we'll ask some big questions. What do we want to see? What don't we want to see in order to continue this trajectory of excitement? So yeah, there's going to be a few red flags and green flags that we're going to want to have in the coming months before we consider pre-ordering or buying this game. So let's go over to the trailer now, and let's have a look. I'm going to get rid of my face. We'll go on to full screen for this. So if you've already seen it, just skip ahead.
Battle command uplink initializing. Please stand by.
Land across Eurasia, most heavily affected by the fallout.
You have proven yourself loyal to me so far, General. Our dynasty has waited long enough. Show me that my trust is not misplaced.
Braces for the inevitable retaliation.
Though they may be, they are still flesh and bone. Get to work.
So, as you can agree, it does look pretty exciting, doesn't it? Especially when that music that clearly slaps kicks in. Very Doom, very Frank Caleppi style of music, and it just like really grabs you. So let's now go through the trailer and point out some of the things, well, I'm going to point them out to you rather, that I've picked up on. So this GDF, that's clearly a mock-up of GDI, Global Defense Initiative. It's even got the eagle motif, which obviously is a common motif, and it's going to stand for force. So GDF, these are the good guys, clearly. Battle Command Uplink. Very Cabal sounding from Tiberian Sun. So if you remember Cabal,
the probability of a favorable outcome.
This is the guy that's like the Nod computer in Tiberian Sun, so I think it sounds a little bit like him. Now, 3D Realms, that you'll very much remember them from making Duke Nukem back in the day. Let me put my headset on so I can hear this. Now, a rift, and people investigating a rift, or a crash landing. Now, this, again, very similar to Tiberian Sun, seems like maybe a spaceship has crashed into the Earth, and possibly that's where there's going to be 3 factions in this game. You've already seen a bit of the goodies, you've seen their logo, now you're seeing the bit of the baddies, it would seem. If you see those very militaristic, it's all militaristic, but you know, it's very Third Reich kind of Nazi looking dudes, it would seem. Slipgate Ironworks, relatively unestablished studio, to be honest. I can't see what they've done that is known. You know, they have the 3D Realms kind of links there with Duke Nukem ports, it would seem. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. Right, so these are the baddies. We're seeing more of them. The voice you're hearing in the background has a Russian accent, but they're looking very World War II German. You'll notice that this is very much a Sturmgewehr kind of mock-up, the kind of first assault rifle ever built. It's even got the scope in this picture. And you can pretty much see that's what he's got there. It's very Sturmgewehr-esque, isn't it? Noticeably the mag pointing forward straight. And also a Stahlhelm, which, again, very Nazi. Which are always the baddies. It's good to have baddies in a game. Collaboration 2B Games. This is a Polish studio. So yeah, I think that they're going to be a developer in partnerships, possibly doing multiplayer aspect, I would imagine, or maybe doing art. I'm not too sure who 2B are. They don't have a Wikipedia page. Right. Show me rather this stuff, comrade. Sounds very much like the announcer from Company Heroes 2, or the bad guy that's in the campaign, the terrible campaign of Company Heroes 2. And this looks very Temple of Nod. This looks like, or Scar, be prepared, kind of thing. They're underground, it's a lair. These, again, are the baddies, keeping with the baddies for now. Classic, that's a big ask. I'm hoping the frame rate of these particles is better in the game. Right, this isn't squad mechanics, it would seem, because they're running forward, so it's not Company of Heroes. It might be individual control of individual soldiers. But this is very spooky. This is a perfectly done trailer, by the way. They have a lot of cliches, but it just gets the heart pumping. Saw an APC there, and these are clearly the good guys. You got that Global Defense Force logo on them. And I think it's pretty obvious who they're based on. They're based on, as we fade to white, this dude, or Starship Troopers, but this is the this is an original collector's item from Tiberian Sun, and it's the GDI infantryman from that, not a disc thrower, just the guy with the probably like a minigun or something. I don't know what they call it in that game, but yeah. So clearly that's the good guy infantry. And here we go, we get into the good stuff. And I'm immediately loving this. You see the rocket trooper here? Look at that projectile missile there. It's just wonderful. It's really cool how they've got like a trailing, kind of sidewinding path of the smoke there. You can see that there's a lot of placeholders in place because these units have clearly been killed and they're splattered. And they're just kind of resting in place. And I love the Gatling gun base and placement. And the very, again, Tiberian Sun-esque gate to your building. So taking Tiberian Sun, a very underrated game. And this seems heavily influenced by that at this point in terms of overall design philosophy. The good guys have Abram tanks kind of style. Or maybe even Leopard tank kind of style. I've got a big Leopard tank behind me, an actual. So yeah, I think it's very Leopard tank-esque, one of the coolest tanks ever kind of made, or very Abrams tank-esque, whichever you want to say. Right, these are the bad guy infantry again, that commander, and there's the good guys, a good close-up shot of them. GDF clearly emblazoned on his shoulder pad there, and his gun is very more futuristic looking. And the first shot of the base here. So let's zoom in on this. And my eyes were actually more drawn to this in the top right, the UI, because it's a good one. It's a good user interface. It packs a punch. It gets all the vital information with hoverovers, so if you want to learn more about it, you can. And look how little of the space of the screen that occupies. It's minimalistic, but it's got everything you need to see. Relic Entertainment could really learn a thing or two from that, to be honest. And so construction yard is currently building, and we've already seen how good that looks. You can also see in this build, they've got power plants, radar station, ore refinery, a war factory, some kind of tech building, it would seem, and silos needed. So let's go over to something else I want to show you from this. The two UI things in the picture. So let's zoom in on this so we can see. We've got repair, we've got money, you've got power, you've got your power icon there. You've got your population, so borrowing from Company Heroes, it would seem 1 out of 300. Maybe that's what that is. The fact that it says 1 out of 300 at the moment, I don't know fully what it indicates. It could be teching points as well. It could be command points. And then, of course, you've got, I think it's cash. So that's your pool of cash, your bank with your silos and your ore refineries, etc. Next one, I put this on its side so we can see what the structures are, because something they do need to improve is they've got this text kind of, you can't really read it from what it says at the moment. Buildings, defenses, infantry, vehicles, and aerial. So very Red Alert 2 in that sense. What I really like, though, is underneath that you can click the individual buildings within your building to get the troops and stuff. I don't know, something really cool about how it says 1 there, and it's clearly got the outline of how the teching structures work. Something to me spells that it's going to have an awesome tech tree, and the UI will go along with that. I'm really excited by it. Let's continue with this now. World map there. Showing more construction and a paratrooper, dead paratrooper. So again, it's got everything in this game, it would seem. Right, first sign of the baddies. We've got a huge tank there, very apocalypse tank. We've also got the first sign of the resources that you control, very Tiberian-esque, but Tiberian was a proven commodity. It just killed you. It's a good, keep with it. We've also got like a Tesla trooper kind of dude, or a Wolverine from Tiberian Sun. Selected right now is Tempest Artillery. So showing something that obviously a lot of RTS games have not capitalized on properly is the idea of artillery. So that's cool. And nice explosions. Did you see like the explosion there? I jumped way too far back, but it doesn't matter because it's all awesome. Anyway, look at that. Kind of implodes from within. Now, I think this is underwater. It could be stealth as well, but it definitely appears to be underwater. So that's hinting that we've got naval in there, or it could be infrared. Maybe it's heat signatures, not fully sure. There's a harvester collecting the not Tiberian TM. Nice explosions here. This is all CGI kind of stuff, though. More CGI stuff. Can't learn too much from it. There we go. We got the definitely not Nod base. They build stuff with kind of arms, which is automation. It's bad. And they use lasers to generate power, which makes no sense, but it looks cool. On their bases, you can't see too much right now. That looks like a hand of Nod kind of thing. More. I love how they time that with the music. This trailer is badass. It just gets the heart pumping. It's unapologetic in the power fantasy. It's what fans want to see. I'd buy that for $1. That is my reaction having watched this trailer. Again, there are a lot of computer games coming out with trailers that are like, huh? What's going on? This one, not so much. This is like pre-order driving. And here come the bad guys. These are flame troops, and they're evil. You can tell that because they look it. And flame troops are obviously always the first to get shot at in World War I when they first appeared in the Slosh Trooping kind of thing of the German army back then. So yeah, it makes sense that they would be evil. Flames are bad. Oh, look at that. They zoom out, showing the zoom out, and they zoom out to show the heliport, which probably might be a name for it. You got this under. This is a barracks, definitely, or something similar, under attack from flame tanks. You can see they've got a little canister on their back, and they shoot 2 jets of flame. And I have to say, the saturation and contrast levels look quite. How do we judge it? I think it looks good. It's a lot to take in, but it's just dark and moody enough that I think it's like a decent level right now. A lot of games struggle to get the saturation and contrast levels right, but I'm liking it. It's a treat to the senses, if not quite an assault to them, or maybe somewhere just testing how much I can take in at one point in time. So this is pretty cool. Next, more FMV, and then we've got this, an MLRS, multiple rocket system, Katusha inspired, and that's cool. I've always wanted to see more of that. Oh, and hitting the infantry directly, but clearly showing they weren't that affected by it there. So I wonder if it's more of an anti-building measure. I don't know. Then we've got snow landscape showing variation. This is very bright to look at. We've got guys lying prone, and we've already seen other infantry in this trailer lying prone, showing we've got kind of infantry mechanics in how they act. He doesn't last very long, though, and there's blood on the snow. Again, seeing those... Oh, that was a quick one. We barely got a look at that. That's some of those big... There's flame tanks, and then the more... They look more like artillery, don't they? I would say. And there's more of... Look at that. Graphics. Really liking the variation in the foliage against the alien kind of landscape in the background taking over the planet, it would seem. Destruction. Oh, he's not having a very good day. This seems like more light tanks kind of thing. Full salvo. And then you've got Indiana Jones's dad, played by Sean Connery, of course. And then this, is that an MCV? Mobile Construction Vehicle or something? He's been watched by these dudes, so that would indicate to me, yes, that's going to become a big building. Because they're like, yes, we're engineers, hands on hips. You know what I mean? Right. What is this long trail there? That's some kind of pulse rifle or something. Or can't look too much into it, of course. It is just the CGI kind of thing. I want to see what we're fully taking in on this one. Looks like we've got just... Is this like under construction as that's why it's penned in? I'm not too sure about that. Looking really well fleshed out. Then we've got a base rocket system. That's really cool. Or is it like you've converted the original truck to be that? It could be one or the other, or maybe there's multiple MLRS systems for the not Brotherhood of Nod. Attacking the building there. Very quick transfer into that. There's a lot to take in, and there's some smaller pods here that look to be more like a infantry fighting vehicle almost from Red Alert 2. Then we've got a very Ostwind looking flak panzer, but with a bigger cannon. So it's taking a few cues from Company of Heroes 2 and 1 there. They took a tank that was only produced 45 times from the Second World War and made it a staple in the RTS landscape. And it looks like Tempest Rising is taking some cues from that with this vehicle. And then we've got a very dodgy name, and it looks like a mobile game, the logo does. So there's some cheesiness that probably needs to be addressed. But I think we're out of names at this point. You can't keep doing Band of Brothers, Company of Heroes, Rise of Nations. Not everything can be of. And Rising is a really cool word to have at the end of something. But Tempest is the one I have difficulty with. I'm not sure about the word Tempest. It's like tempestuous. It's kind of, in literature, it's more aligned with, like, I don't know, kind of feminine feeling of, like, derogatory fashion. Oh, she was tempestuous. I don't know. There's just literary content. Also very weather-based as well. I mean, you know, I was on about where I've heard it in books just now, but I also feel like it's more weather-based, the word Tempest. It just doesn't, it's not as cool as Rising. So the name, they've already chosen it clearly. I can live with a bad name. I'm fine with it. But the game itself looks badass. I'm really happy. And yeah, it's going to be out very shortly, seemingly. Connecting Battle Uplink in 2023, that might indicate early beta, or it could just be they've been working on this and it's a complete sleeper title that took us all by surprise. So I've gone through what I've seen in the trailer. There's also some other stuff that we should probably look at together. We've got this, the Steam page, and I'm going to add it to my wish list now, live. There you go. And it's got this. It talks a little bit about what it is. Other dangers wait in the shadows. There's clearly going to be an alien race. There's 3 races, 3 unique factions. And the features classic RTS base building with fast and fluid, hard-hitting combat. Asymmetrical factions, that's awesome, showing they've put a lot of work into the game. And they go on about that. They don't just say asymmetric, they also say unique roster of units, so showing how much love and attention has gone into it. 2 epic single-player campaigns. That's how you build an RTS franchise. Obviously, multiplayer is incredibly important, but a good campaign is how you start things off. But it is launching with ranked multiplayer matchmaking with an ELO rating. That is the bare essential that we should expect, but I'm still excited because other titles have not done that. So that allows the competitive side of the community to be just as excited as the casual side at the same time, which makes a perfect tempestuous storm of activity, which could lead to this having a big player base, hopefully. Specs, you can see that it requires not the biggest specs ever. It's saying Intel dual core there, 8 gigs of RAM only, 4 gigabytes of DDR, of VRAM for the GPU, and DirectX 11, which is standard these days. Let's go on to look at this here, which is screenshots as posted on PC Gamer's website rather. And that is beautiful. I think if you're going to be a Twitch streamer for this game, you're going to want a few of these screenshots for backgrounds, showing pretty much a lot of what we've talked. We haven't seen the plane that drops the paratroopers yet, and you can see them free diving before their chutes deploy. There, you can also see a little bit of naval combat confirmed. Let me move my big ugly face. There you go, naval combat in the bottom right. We've also got helicopters. They're shown here for the first time. Well, we saw the heliport, but we didn't see the helicopters. And that's enough for that one. Let's go on to the next one. Oh, this one's a little bit closer. Some kind of walking mech, it would seem, there. Or is that the EDF? No, GDF, sorry. The GDF deploy. There's the GDF helicopter as well. Very Apache-like. Flame troopers, and there's those squad mechanics, it would seem. It does look more like squad mechanics or kind of AI behavior rather. They're all lying prone on their belly together, so we'll have to see how that works. And this is a snowy one, so your eyes will have to adjust. We've got barrels exploding. Hopefully they actually affect the gameplay. That would be cool, just like it did in Command & Conquer Red Alert 1. We do have some kind of... Is that some kind of stealth there? What's happening here? Look at my mouse. What is it pointing at? Again, I'll just move my face a little bit to show these guys in the bottom right, where you can see one of them. I don't know what's happening there, but I'm intrigued. And maybe that's an amphibious vehicle, or maybe that's just water. Yes, it looks like it's on water, doesn't it? So that's, again, more sign of amphibious activity. Oh, these are big boys, aren't they? So there's your Mammoth tank equivalent. It would be the GDF that has the Mammoth, just like GDI did. And they haven't gone with definitely... It's a Mammoth tank. It's just got a slightly raised turret. And no missile pods on the side. But it's definitely a Mammoth tank, isn't it? Looking over, I'm done 23 minutes on this already. I really need to try and keep this down. There's Indiana Jones's father. There's a very sad-looking general. And, ooh, night mission. Cool. And a bigger close-up of the radar tower for the Nod. And other things shown here. Flame. Nothing new that we haven't seen already, it would appear. But the one thing that draws my attention is the double base walls here. We've got sandbags and concrete walls, it would seem. So very much turtling. Onwards. Oh, these don't quite... Yeah, they're the same Tiberian Suntroop. No, they're not. One of them's got a shield look. This looks a little bit different. Maybe he's the boss, or he's a bigger unit. Having a shield would indicate such. Maybe he's a rocket trooper or something. We can't quite see what weapon he's wielding, but it looks more interesting. And going past the burnout remnants of a vehicle there, showing poor civilians have had it tough. their eyes glow up in the dark, and that's all she wrote for that. Well, I've got 2 more things here. What's that one? Oh, that's just a... Yeah, I was going to not have them there. There we go. So that's that bit. Now, on to the last portion of this video, which is concerns and things that we should be worried about, and also things we want to see. So, first big concerns. Is it too derivative? Is it not original enough? And is it a little bit cheesy? The name's a little bit cheesy. Yes. The kind of overly using assets that are so similar to Command and Conquer could be seen as a little bit too derivative. Yes. We're going to want... What we want to see then, to balance that out, is enough originality and new features in the game. The voice so yeah, that'll balance that out. The next bit, voice acting. Of course, the unit lines have to be absolutely awesome to make this game feel as good as such great titles as Command and Conquer and Company of Heroes and other great games with fantastic voice lines that really make it part of the experience. So that's what we want. Classically, in the past 10 years, studios have not been able to deliver that. A lot of European studios have had difficulty getting good voice talent in. Already, the Russian dude that's clearly the Kane-esque character is sounding like a good voice actor. He's got good gravitas about him. So we want more of that. And we want to hopefully knock that out of the park. And the next thing that we should all be worried about is the gameplay inherently fun? Does it work? And to make sure it's fun, we have to have a lot of testing. And the fact that this game's... I don't know anybody that had heard about it before yesterday. So I hope they've got a lot of testing in, and I hope they are inherently making a fun game that feels interesting to play. And for it to truly be interesting to play, it has to also stimulate your brain. You have to have some strategic conundrums to unlock, or rather tactical issues to understand. Because for me, one thing that some RTSs have done better in a modern setting is they've made it a little bit more tactical in some ways. They've pulled it away from being purely resources equal men equal win. You know, they've made it a little bit more, and not necessarily rock, paper, scissors either. So in order for that to happen, you can add in elements such as armor values, stealth. You can add in target tables, like the idea that some units are better at certain things than other things, etc., and make it more nuanced and complex. And if they do that, then it'll really keep fans playing it. It will also build up that intellectual capital of kind of fandom, where people are like, I play this game, I play it twice a week, I really love it, I play it every day, it's amazing, whatever. It builds that up because it keeps people involved if they've got something to continue to learn. And learning is also a big part of that. With a brand new game like this, you have to have good resources, and wiki pages that are linked to the game engine or something similar is a must for an RTS game in a modern setting, because people want to know the numbers and they want to know what they're doing with the game. That is the gameplay side of things. I've already said, like, the campaign, of course, has to be fantastic, and one way a studio can do that for my money is don't try and be too ambitious with your campaign. I feel RTS fans are really forgiving if they get 7 hours or 7 or 8 hours out of your campaign for each side. So 2 campaigns, that's 1 per faction, I presume. That's pretty good. That's really good going. And if it has that like steady progression, that classic feeling with a few side missions thrown in for good measure that are really challenging, you can have a recipe for success on your hands. So that's what I want to see from this game. I'm loving the vibe so far. Stuff I've not mentioned in this last chapter of my video is because I already have confidence they're going for the right... The graphics look awesome. The artistic design looks incredible. And the faction designs look really cool at this point. So that's stuff I'm not going to even have to mention because I'm already kind of assured they're going to have that. So let me know in the comments what you feel about this. I want to know what you want to see from it next. And I want to also know and gauge how excited you feel. Thank you for watching, and let's keep an eye on this one. Cheers.